Along with Clare McCardle, Ms. Clare Potter was one of the designers credited with inventing American sportswear, a style that has influenced designers all over the world. She was a featured designer at Lord & Taylor when the store was headed by the legendary Dorothy Shaver, and received the first Lord & Taylor Design Award in 1938 for distinguished designing in the field of sports clothes for women. She also received a Neiman Marcus Award in 1939 and a Coty Fashion Critics Award in 1946. In 1939, she designed a blue wool dress for Eleanor Roosevelt to wear to meet King George VI and Queen Elizabeth of England. Roosevelt was the First Lady of the United States for 12 years, from March 1933 to April 1945, while her husband Franklin D. Roosevelt served 4 terms as president. She wasn't particularly excited about taking on the role because previous First Ladies focused their time on domestic and hosting duties. Roosevelt took an active role as First Lady and focused on political and social causes. She was a bit controversial because the majority of married women during that time period didn't work. Eleanor Roosevelt, known primarily for her role as First Lady of the United States from 1933 to 1945, was not typically associated with fashion in the traditional sense. However, her approach to fashion reflected her personality and the societal expectations of her time. She often favored modest, understated clothing that reflected her dedication to public service and her desire to be seen as approachable and relatable. Her style was often conservative, reflecting the times and the expectations placed on women, particularly those in the public eye. Despite her lack of emphasis on high fashion, Roosevelt was aware of the importance of her public image. She often wore suits, long dresses, and pearls, an ensemble that balanced her role as a public figure with her personal values. Her clothing choices were intended to project dignity and respectability, rather than glamour. Interestingly, Eleanor Roosevelt used her influence to advocate for American fashion during a time when European designers, particularly from Paris, dominated the industry. She supported American designers and promoted Buy American campaigns, encouraging the development of a distinctly American style. Roosevelt also connected fashion with social causes. She often chose to wear clothing from organizations that supported disadvantaged women, highlighting the intersection of fashion and social responsibility. While Eleanor Roosevelt may not be remembered as a fashion icon in the traditional sense, her style was a reflection of her values, practicality, dignity, and social consciousness. Her approach to fashion was less about trends, and more about conveying her commitment to the causes she believed in. So, Clare Potter was a fashion designer who was born in Jersey City, New Jersey in 1903. She studied at the Art Students League of New York and began her studies at the Pratt Institute of Design in Fine Arts. After seeing clothes that Potter designed and made for herself, the director of the Pratt Institute recommended that she study costume design. In 1925, before her graduation, Potter left Pratt to work for Edward L. Meyer, a wholesale dress manufacturer in Manhattan, where she spent 3 years, developing her skills and designing mid-market sportswear. In the 1930s, she was one of the first American fashion designers to be promoted as an individual design talent. Working under her elided name Clare Potter, she has been credited as one of the inventors of American sportswear. Based in Manhattan, she continued designing through the 1940s and 1950s. Her clothes were renowned for being elegant, but easy to wear and relaxed, favoring well-tailored linens and burnished wools in pants, shorts, pajamas, skirts and other sportswear, and for their distinctive use of color. She founded a ready-to-wear fashion company in Manhattan, named Timbertop in 1948. The company shared its name with a turkey farm in West Nyack, where Potter and her husband, architect J. Sanford Potter, lived. By the mid-1950s, Clare Potter worked independently from a barn on her farm. Her later clothes were more tailored and dressy than her earlier designs. In the late 1950s, the Potters moved into a Japanese-style house on Lake Nebo in Fort Anne, New York that was designed and built by J. Sanford. In addition to their professional work, they bred Dalmatian dogs. Sanford Potter died in 1994 and, at the age of 95, Clare Potter died in 1999 at their home in Fort Anne. Among the styles she was known for were the two-piece swimsuit consisting of a bra and bloomers, the evening sweater and the side-saddle draped skirt. Even for evening, her designs tended to be as casual as a shirt and skirt or pants and a tunic. One outfit of the 1940s combined a rose-colored blouse, a pale blue floor-length skirt and a green belt. She did forward-looking active sports clothes, sundresses, trousers, bathing suits and evening sweaters, said Valerie Steele, the chief curator of the museum at the Fashion Institute of Technology. She wasn't influenced by Paris, but by the modern American leisure lifestyle. The 1930s in America were marked by significant changes and challenges, heavily influenced by the Great Depression, which began with the stock market crash in 1929. Fashion in the 1930s was more conservative and practical, compared to the flamboyant styles of the 1920s. Women's clothing became more streamlined, with an emphasis on tailored suits and dresses that were both stylish and functional. Hemlines dropped back to mid-calf. The 1930s were a time of resilience, creativity, and change, as Americans navigated the complexities of economic hardship and sought to build a more stable and prosperous future. And Clare Potter in her clothes told us just that, and so did Eleanor.